What is going on, guys? This is Charles from Team COG coming to you guys here with my 4th place Infernoble deck profile. So I actually just took this list to locals at Grandmaster Games, remote to locals. If you guys want to check that out, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so you never miss when I go live, or you can also click that join button and become a member. And all my live streams are always uploaded a day after for members only, so if you miss them, you can always go back and check them out. And I ended up going 3-1-1, and arguably, excuse me, was it? No, it was 2-1-1, excuse me, 2-1-1, and the draw, literally, it was like time was called and I had damage, and I just didn't scream battle phase fast enough, so I'm taking that one. That one should have been mine. And then the round 1 was against Agents, and that was, he was in the lead, he was going first. I had the answer to his Cosmic, I had Cosmic to his Scythe, but I didn't really have anything else after. I had a combo, but I didn't know if I had enough to play through the board. However, time was called, and he went ahead and paid 3,000 life points with Venus, and then the new Venus. So it was crazy. So he ended up losing that one. I totally will give that game to him, though. In a sense, you know, we take those days, especially when you're playing decks that rely life. You got to be conscious of the time, and he was not. He was fairly new to the deck, too, so I don't blame him. Round 2, but Sky Striker, they opened. I played through 5 interruptions with that deck. Was able to end on pretty much just Isolde pass, but I mean, it was enough. When you open 5 hand traps, and 3 Widow Anchor, you just plow through them. They're pretty rough. And then after that, I believe, was Heroes. That was my draw. I ended up getting him game 1. Or in game 1, he got me. Because DP, I mistakenly played that card, Dark Angel. It's pretty good. It says no spells. So, and literally, I had a handful of spells. So, next game, I got him that one. Next game again. He went first. I opened Dark Ruler. Smacked Dark Ruler, not allowing me not to deal any damage. But then I literally broke his board apart. Hand ripped him for 1. And I just needed to say battle phase, and I would have had damage to put 8,000 on. But I digress. I didn't do that. So, you know, partially our fault as well. It also doesn't help that I'm still learning some combos in the lines with the deck as well, since the deck has changed and all that stuff. And other than that, the final round was Sword Soul, which was probably the most meta matchup of the night. And the deck did fairly well against that. At the end, he went first. I was not just able to push through his board, sadly. The next game, no, excuse me. Yeah, never mind. I went first. I was able to put up my board through Effect Veiler. And then next game, he went first, opened double anti-spell. I had a handful of search cards. Third and final game, he went first, and I had everything to break his board. Went into battle phase, but he had droplets during the damage step. And Gearfried was not able to push through, sadly, because I was just able to play through his board, get Gearfried up, and like I was in the commanding position there. But droplets, man. Droplets. Well, anyway, without further ado, we're already pushing 2 minutes in here. We'll just go ahead and see if you guys enjoy the playmat, sleeves, the hat. Check out Imperium Duelist down in the links down below. Use my code TEAMCOG10 to get 10% off your order. And yeah, we'll just quickly jump into it. I guess also I need to get better at remembering this as well. YouTube now has a thanks option. You hit that thanks button down there and you can tip the channel if you want to. Everything that goes into the channel helps out quite a bit. And yeah, just helps out. So going on to the list here, guys. So this is not the same list that I showed you guys prior to this. Like I showed you combos with Hero Kid. Hero Kid was not in this list. And I truly believe I will move away from the Hero Kid because of the space that, as you will see here in the list, it frees up by not playing it. However, Hero Kid is great because Hero Kid does beat Token Collector, and this list does not beat Token Collector, so do keep that in mind. But anyway, I'm gonna do a test hand video of this deck, and then some more combos, updating it, the combos list and everything like that. So anyway, like I said, this is like pretty much take 2 of the deck. So also, any negative comments put down below to myself, to anyone, you're blocked, bro. I'm not dealing with that stuff. We're here as a community trying to be better. I'm not going to take you guys being negative nannies and ruin the name of Face YuGiOh and come to my channel bringing that negativity. So be polite, be constructive, be respectful. Otherwise, you're blocked, bro. Moving on. Triple Renaud. You could get away with 2 of this per 4, but now I think you definitely have to play 3. It is part of the no like Oliver lines. And sometimes he's the only tuner you see, and like you have to see a tuner because the deck is no longer 1 card, it's 2 card. And then before all you guys come after me saying that, well, you can play 1 card combos, but you also play a plethora of bricks. And I only believe I am playing technically one brick. Honestly, like 1 hard brick. Everything's kind of pseudo bricks, maybe 2 bricks. We'll get there when we get there. But 3, Renaud's important for the combo lines and all that stuff. Our inboards always consist of Charles and Savage at the bare minimum. And anyone who says Charles and Savage is weak, like literally most of my games tonight were won by just Charles alone. So with equipped with stuff. So nobody, if anyone tells you or tries to argue with you and saying like the Charles and Savage board is weak or Charles and Herald is weak, they've not played the game. They've not played this deck enough to understand that Charles by itself wins. But 3 Renaud, 3 Oliver. Oliver is definitely the most important. the most important tuner in the deck. You always want to open Oliver, and we play so many ways to get to it. And like I said, there's a combo line to where if you don't open Oliver, you can get to it via Isolde and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. One Ogier, and then one Astolfo. I actually decided out Astolfo, and it cost me a game 2, believe it or not, because I needed to add this because I actually triple tactics, drew 2, drew both. Yeah, that's right. I drew both red layers, 2 red layers. And if I played if I didn't side out Astolfo, I could have added Astolfo, summoned it, and still done the typical play that I was doing, and would have got an extra card with a charge warrior draw and stuff like that. But I digress. That's my fault. But anyway, this is the 8 Infernobles that we're playing. Do take note, Ogier here is probably the worst normal summon in the deck. But right now, I believe it's probably second best. If you open like Ogier plus this, you're still doing good because this and this can get you to this. And this can also get you to Gearfried lines to protect your Isolde. So just do keep that in mind for sure. But anyway, that's it for the Infernobles. Moving on to the best normal summon in the deck. We are on triple connector and one, well, where'd it go? One Dolphin. So these cards are phenomenal. This card set, the Isolde is so important, right? Because like we're no longer a Hulk deck, we're an Isolde deck. And this card just baits every hand trap out there. I think it's crazy that people are not playing this and playing Sublimation Knight. Even as cool as Sublimation Knight looks, this card literally answers everything and requires immediate response. Otherwise, you're going to hand loop them. Like normal summon, they Ash this, they Effect Raider this, they do anything they want to this. You have like Flint Lady or a follow up or like Red Layer to start out with. Like you just literally did what the job was. So do keep that in mind. I think this card is without a doubt has to be played, especially with so many hand traps floating around. Moving on for the Warrior Extenders, triple Red Layer. And double Flint Lady. The reason I don't play 3 Flint is mostly space, and I hate saying 2 Flint. I know you can normal Flint and special Flint, but like you'd rather see any other high impact card rather than 2 Flints. I'd rather just hold Flint in a sense. Like Flint's just a powerful extender. I'd rather not have to burn my Flint, you know. But it is if you do open 2 Flints, you can still combo with 2 Flints. But the ability for this card, especially from the hand, is important because you can special summon like the Pseudo Brick, which in the term is like Doppel Warrior and stuff like that, which is really cool. And then, yeah, not much more can be said about this right here. These are standard. Double Gearfried. I actually recommend playing 3 of this. If you have space to fit in 3, play 3. I've always led by this science of 1 is if you don't want to see it, 3 is if you always want to see it, 2 is if you only want to see it sometimes. And I still kind of only want to see this card sometimes, but I also understand that Isolde has to resolve, so you do need to see it as much as possible. So 3 is probably the correct ratio to play. However, I only have 2 collectors rare, and I'm not about to mix match rarities. So until I get my 3rd collector's rare, I'll probably just play 2, and it worked out fine. Gearfried is just super strong. It allows you to preemptively set up boards so your Isolde resolves successfully. It also allows you to, when you do get hand trapped, for Gearfried to come down. Because again, that just amazes me when people are like, boards are weak, when literally like Gearfried alone can win you decks. Like if you get hand trapped enough, Gearfried alone can win you, right? So I don't think people know what they're talking about, but Gearfried, part of the Infernoble strategy. 1 Doppel. So this is, instead of playing Hero Kid, I'm on to Doppel. This card gives us the bodies and gives us the same bodies that Hero Kid does, minus having to play 2 Hero Kids. However, again, if you we lose the Token Collector because Token Collector is being played to counter Sword Soul, so do keep that in consideration. However, this card just freed up so much space that I was able to play more protection that way. But anyway, yep, just 1 Doppel. 1 Jet. Jet's really good. Especially because of its level 1, allows you to go to like level 2 synchro 2 plays. It allows you to come out and do synchro 3s. It's recurable, which was the same thing that Plague Spreader could do and all that stuff. So really awesome. Do plan to order my super here soon. Huge shout out to my buddy Shane. He got me all the cards I needed right on time when I quickly decided to change builds. So shout out to him. No hand traps. I was playing 3 Ash, and every hand I counted Ash in, I was like, dang, this is good because my end board is board plus Ash. But then I was like, well, what if I get interrupted and Ash was just awful to have? So I'd much rather play full Sin and have the ability to combo off regardless. So that's, you guys will see the cards I traded out for, and it never came up actually. I only saw the card when my hand was just brave, was like too good as it was anyway, so it didn't really come up. However, in theory, it should come up, and it should actually be more beneficial than playing Ash in a sense. But moving on to the search spells, we are on to 3 Heritage of the Chalice, and then 3 Durandal. So again, max search. These are more copies of starters. These are more copies of Oliver. These are more copies of Renaud. It's just, you want to max out on them. Like, the deck is really insanely consistent for what it does and everything, so just do keep that in mind. A Chalice, though, can be belled, because it does add from graveyard, so you can bell Chalice. And then Durandal is just really good. Like I said, these are like additional copies of, so 9 copies so far of Oliver, along with the different other lines you can get to Oliver. Triple DDR. We still played power tools, so my thought process was we want to play 3 of the best. This card only becomes bad in lines where you don't open Oliver. So then like you end up sending 1 and you don't get to send, you're not sending Phoenix Blade, so you don't get the banishment. But normally if you do, as long as Isolde resolves and you open 1 or 2 of these guys, this is the strongest extender you have in your arsenal to be able to play through hand traps. So I do recommend playing it. And then for just like the one-ofs, I am onto 1 Living Fossil. This, again, is just for those lines where you open DDR and you're still able to combo normally, so you get to add another off of the power tool, so it just gives you options. So just another reborn in a sense. In some instances, I have noticed that Living Fossil is really good. So like, I made a comment during my live stream that I kind of wanted to play more Living Fossil, but I just disagree with that. This is a hard once per turn, where if you open 2 Living Fossils, it's dead, where if you open 2 DDRs, they're not dead. So do keep that in consideration. To the final 2 one-ofs, Divine Sword and Metal Silver Armor. So these are arguably the 2 bricks in the deck. Divine Sword is fantastic if you open Oliver, so you just get a free pitch. And the Metal Silver is just, you have to play it. Like anyone who believes this card, it is a brick, I'm not going to lie. It doesn't do anything to benefit your combo, and the only utility you get from it being in your hand is its discard fodder with Oliver. But this card solidifies and locks down boards so well, just like it did in the old list, that it allows you to make your 1 interruption. Well, it's more than that. It's literally Savage Charles and Hal could be so much more powerful when your opponent can't target anything. Nothing. So it just allows a little bit more solidity to our already like not really weak boards, but are already like weakened boards than what we're used to, sort of. So I do keep that in consideration. I would never not play this, actually. It's just I like it too much. It's a free dump. You dump it with Roland in the combo and stuff like that. For onto the hand trap hate, I am onto 3 triple tactic talent. This card overperformed. The only time it underperformed was what I drew, and it's not its fault for what I drew. Like, that was just my deck allowing me to draw that. But I used every effect once, at least once. I used the effect to look at the hand and shuffle back. Against agents, I use this to look at the hand and shuffle back a card. So like I literally went, was it agent? I don't think it was agents. I take that back. I think I looped him with Dolphin. But I did look at, it was Sky Striker. I literally looked at their hand, shuffled a card back. I literally, it was insane. Then I drew 2 cards, which I drew 2 red layers. Not a good draw, but still, if it drew me into any extenders, I was still off to the races. And then the steal, I did that against Sword Soul. I stole their Chi-Zhao, I think it was, because I was going to crash Chi-Zhao into their Long Young so I could remove the Chi-Zhao, and then my Gear Food was going to suck up the Long Young, but the guy had droplets. So this card overperformed, hands down. Just remarkable card, allows us to do that. I normally don't do the, like, it's very interesting, this deck, because you only use, like, normal connector. They ash the connector, and you had talents. You go ahead and you have an extender with connector. You go ahead and activate talents and put another card back. But if, like, you only have connector, or you only have, like, 2 cards, or, like, you know, like, you only have, like, Red Layer Flint Lady or connector, that's the only thing you have, everything in your hand is not good, not bueno. Tactics is used to draw. This card is just so versatile. I'm not gonna, this card's been out for a while. I just finally got my hands on it, so this is my experience playing it for the first time, and hands down, I like it. I don't mind the reactiveness. I don't mind it's not, like, preemptive, it's reactive. So, like, that doesn't bother me at all. Like, this card was just overperformed in my opinion. And it feels like it fits in the deck too. Moving on. So I was rocking, instead of Ash Blossom, 2 Eagle Booster and 1 Engage. And I literally changed this right before the locals began, simply because I was like, man, you know, it's going to suck when I open Ash and my play gets stopped and I only have 1 Ash to stop them. That's not enough. I'd much rather combo and set up my board than have an Ash. So that's what this was. Instead of playing 3 Eagle Booster, you could actually play, my Discord brought up, my man Flex actually did. You could play Drones too, because Drones is a warrior, so you get another warrior extender that way. However, this was the space I had, and the thought process behind the 2 Eagle Booster and just the 1 Engage is literally, if you draw Engage later throughout a turn, or you have it, and you go combo, you literally dump spells to the graveyard, so you can literally go Engage to get Eagle Booster, and then you can draw off of Engage, and then get the Eagle Booster in hand for free discard fodder later on. But that's the thought, the process is, Isolde's normally the only card up here, so Isolde resolves, that's all you need is Isolde to resolve. Like, Hulk resolving is kind of important too, but they're probably going to waste a hand trap on the Isolde when you fire it off, so like Eagle Booster solves it. So that was just my thought process. In theory, sounds great. The extra draw can come up very more than you'd think it was because of Engage, but it didn't happen in the tournament, sadly. The time I did see Eagle Booster, my hand was just so good and so goated that it didn't even matter. Moving on to the busted one-ofs. 1 Rhoda, 1 Monster Reborn, One Call by the Grave. So if you guys can see here, if you count Connector, Connector counts as, hand trap hate. So there's 3 Connector, and Dolphin too, because you can normal summon Dolphin. So there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then if you count all the different combo routes to get to, like the anti-hand trap route with like Ogier and Renaud with getting to Gear Free, you have like almost like 20 different routes to be able to get to ways to protect your result. So Monster Reborn is actually really insane. I've always played this card, and my man Just Nuts brought up how it's the DPE, but I don't think it'll be relevant anymore because the hit to the snake. But Monster Reborn is so good stealing a DPE. Like, they pop it and you just go Reborn back their DPE. And DPE being a warrior is really cool because in that scenario, you can Monster Reborn back the DPE. Then you can, like, choose to pop something and then link away the DPE so they don't get it back. Or you can keep it. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want. Well, I think they get it back because it's still in the grave. Or no, it's treated as a different monster, so I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. If they do get it back, just keep it. Don't link it off. But, yeah, there you guys go. That's it for the main deck. 42 cards in the main deck. Like I said, the only thing I would probably change is trying to fit in a third Gearfried, but you can definitely squeeze by with 2. But the third one does come up for sure. And then yeah, everything performed very well. There's very few bad hands that I really had. Every hand was playable in a way, and I'll have to show you guys like what I mean by that in a later video. Of the always, if you don't open Oliver, the combo line you always go through, and it's pretty much 2 cards. Literally, the deck is a 2-card combo. If you don't open Oliver, you still need an extra extender to play. And there's nothing wrong with being a 2-card combo deck, considering that DDD's 2 cards, if not more cards sometimes. Agents are 2 cards. Like, all the good combo decks. Sword Souls are technically 2 cards. Moe plus a reveal. So, like, there's nothing wrong with having a 2-card combo deck, guys. So, moving on here to our extra deck here. I'll even show you guys my side deck. I haven't done this in forever. This is my first locals back in a long time. But the 2 Doppel tokens, they're finally the right levels, level 1s. But moving into it, we are on to double Isolde and 1 Hulk. This is all I play for links. And it did come up to bite me. However, in the same scenario that I use these 3, if I was playing like the old version, I had nothing to go into anyway. So that's it for the links. For the synchros, Roland and Charles. Like, these guys are awesome. Still Infernobles. I'm still ending on the boss monster. That's all that matters to me, is ending on Charles and Roland. However, once we get the new power tool, if you are ever denied Roland but still can make a 9, that new power tool Brave will be amazing for the deck because it gives us a negate to be able to set up and stuff if you're denied Roland. Because Roland, like Charles's max potential is being able to become like untargetable, undestructed, make sure everything else can't be targeted along with Roland. However, without Roland, sometimes it's just better to go ahead and go for that power tool Brave. But we'll see. Only more testing moving forward will tell. Charles and Company is sponsored and brought to you by Herald and Savage, which you can still very much like. In one of my videos, or in one of my duels, I actually ended on the full board of Charles, Herald, Savage, but my brain was so scattered, I ended up banishing the Roland here off of for Phoenix Place because I was supposed to bring it back with DDR and Synchro into Savage, but I totally got sidetracked and ended up not doing it, but it should have been there. So like literally I ended on the same board. Savage puts in work for being a negate. Same with Herald. It's just different. Like I said, it's really interesting on like the routes you can go. Herald's low attack is pretty bad, but you can protect it with Charles's pop. And normally you're tributing Arclight anyway, so the Herald tag out is less important. You're normally tagging out for Desert Locust then to make them discard another card. Whereas when you go like into Savage, you're able to negate something, tag into Formula, pick up a card, and then Synchro for Satellite or Baron. I played Satellite, and I ended up popping like 4 cards, I think, like that or something like that. It was crazy and it was really good. But yeah, these guys can be made. Definitely play them. 1 Power Tool, 1 Metal Marcher, and 1 Celestial Star Shaman. So Power Tool is part of the combo. You end up making this with Roland and Doppel through the combo sequence. Marcher is important, and same with Shaman. This is what allows you to play Doppel instead of Hero Kid and get away with opening up those 2 free spaces, because this reborns the Doppel, and then like I said, you use Roland and Doppel to go into Power Tool, and then Doppel gives you 2. Power Tool gets you that whatever you need, DDR, Durandal, whatever you need, and it's pretty cool. These cards are great. The effect of Marcher making things a tuner never comes up because you're normally going right into Hulk with this line anyway, so it's cool though. It's cool. For the final 3, Tatsunoko, Desert Locust, not final 3, but these last 2 here. So these right here, Tatsunoko, Desert Locust, and Infernal Synchron. So this card is really cool in the combo. It's actually quite cool to be able to make this card. I remember watching Mermail Lanterns make this card a long time ago, and I was like, dang, I wish I could use it, but we finally can. This card is cool. It lets you synchro from the hand. It's old too, Clash of Rebellions. You pretty much make this Renaud plus the 2 Doppel tokens near the end of your combo. Going to Tats. With the Isolde, you added Red Layer. You always add Red Layer most of the time. You have to have a lot of foresight, too, because sometimes you don't. But I still am not there to have that foresight. You go Red Layer and Tatsunoko into Savage. It's pretty cool. This card is unaffected by monster effects, too, so little thing that pops up. Desert Locust rips a card from your hand if you have. So, like, intentionally, you can rip 2, rip 3 if you want to. Against the hero guy, I ended up making them. They have to discard, but they get to choose. Do keep that in mind. But, like, with Herald up, you make them discard. It's banished, so they have to discard spells and stuff like that, which is cool. And then Formula Synchron's for that draw. The old version of this list didn't get to draw a lot because that's just how it played. But I have noticed with Tactics letting me draw 2, Formula Synchron letting me draw 1, and sometimes you're making Synchron during your turn depending on your hand, so you're getting to draw 1. And like Stardust Charge Ward lets you pick up an additional card. You're able to draw into more side deck cards pretty easy, whereas before you just had to hopefully hard open them. I don't really have a draw route yet. I'll probably sit down and work a combo line that lets you draw the max of the 2 cards you can do. But other than that, the draw 2 combo. But without further ado, that is it of these guys. And take note, these 2 are quick synchros. I believe Formula just says during the opponent's main phase, quick effect. So Formula Synchron is just, whenever your opponent wants to quick effect, it can synchro. Locust has to be once per your opponent's chain, so your opponent has to activate something in order to quick synchro with Desert Locust. But I mean, it's still there. For the final 2 cards, we are on to Stardust Charge Warrior and Satellite Warrior. So Satellite Warrior was insane, overperformed. I literally got to resolve it, I think, twice, and the destruction is huge. It's a warrior too, so you get some crazy crazy DDR combos and crazy Phoenix Blade routes and stuff like that, where you can banish and bring it back. Same with Charge Warrior. Charge Warrior being a warrior is pretty cool too, but this card was remarkable. You pop 4 cards, it becomes 65 along with Charles, which is already 4,000 by the end of the turn. It's more than enough for lethal, and the Gear Freed on the follow-up, it's enough. I notice I'm not playing access code either, and that's because I'm playing Satellite Warrior. Synchro aspect. Going second, you can synchro into this pretty easy with Charles if you have an additional another additional level 1 out, which I think you do, because you have the Doppel, you special Renaud, Doppel token, and Charles equal Satellite Warrior, and then you can add back DDR, summon back Charles if you want to. It's a really cool going second play you can do, and Stardust Charge Warrior normally is just a stepping stone up into, up into Power Tool or up into Savage if you want to. The draw is really cool. It gives you to replenish some resources when you don't have access to Phoenix Blade, or allows you to draw into side deck cards, which are cool. But that is it for the main and extra, guys. I'll quickly show you guys my side deck that I played. Needs a little work, if you ask me. Like, there was a little bit of my side deck that needed work, and hopefully I'll figure that out. I think I know what card I'm going to replace, but I'm playing the 3 Godarla. You have to respect Flow Wonderies, and just an immediate, it's kind of a hand trap as well, because you draw it or you open it, it immediately solves a card, so that was the thought process too. Godarla. Triple Dark Ruler. I don't like discarding too much in this deck, so I don't prefer Droplets. I actually hate Droplets as a card. I hated Droplets as a card before I even lost to it today. I've long said that Droplets should never have been made. My Discord chat will vouch for me there. I'm not just being salty, even though I am a little bit. I'm not just being it for that. Droplets there's no need for Droplets to ever be made. There is so much going second hate that Droplets is just a busted card that can steal wins that I am not a fan of. However, it's a good card. Dark Ruler no more to break those going second boards. However, like I said, this card literally is kind of what caused me not to win or draw during my hero match, but it also allowed me to get to the point to where I could have won. I just needed to be more fluent with my combos, which I will get through time. 3 Cosmics, and I'm really happy I did Cosmic, is because I respected Scythe, and I needed back row removal. So 3 Cosmics to hit Scythe, and it would have came up if time wasn't called. Triple Judgment. For going first, you need to have some sort of thing to answer those blowout cards like Dark Ruler and Droplets, so having the Judgment's really cool. And this is the card I'm very iffy on, Artifact Lancia. I really did not sight it in. I actually sighted it out pretty quickly. I feel like I need some sort of high-impact hand trap, and I think I'll actually probably go for Nibiru maybe. But until Splites, Splites are my worry, is that once Splites get released, which are in 3 months, Nibiru will be irrelevant, or see more side, see more... Nibiru will fade from the format, is what I'm trying to say. But right now, maybe siding Ashes, but I feel like Ash doesn't do enough. This card does end turns. I don't know. What would you guys side in down below? Or let me know what your guys' side deck is also. But that is it for this profile, guys. Stay tuned for more combos. Stay tuned for a test hand. And please remember, guys, if you guys want to help support the channel, check out our sponsors, Imperium Duelist. Support the channel. But most importantly, you guys stay safe and stay healthy. This is Charles from Team COG, signing out.